For converting fractions to decimals, first thing is you want to see if you can simplify the fraction. Smaller numbers are always better, especially with these kind of ugly fractions, right? The directions here say round to 2 decimal places. If I look at 91 over 17, there is no greatest common factor. Okay, so you can't simplify this one. This one you just have to divide out. Okay, so we're going to divide 17 into 91. And since it says to round to 2 decimal places, we're going to put our decimal here, and we're going to put 3 zeros because we need that third decimal spot to know whether to round up or down. Okay, for when it says round to 2 decimal places. So let's move our decimal up here for answer. Okay, so when I divide 17 into 91, not common numbers, right? So estimate. That's about 20, that's about 90. And use a pencil because you may have to erase. 20 goes into 90, right? If I'm estimating, that goes in there 4 times. So I'm going to go ahead and write in the 4. Okay, 4 times 7 is 28. So I write the 8 and I carry the 2. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. Okay, now I'm going to subtract. So I'm going to borrow here from the 9 and make it an 8 and make that 11. 11 minus 8 is 3. 8 minus 6 is 2. My remainder is 23. So that is important because 23 is bigger than 17. That means 17 will go into this 91 a whole extra time. Okay, so 4 is not the number that I want. I want to move it up to 5. So this remainder, when you subtract, it needs to be less than this number that you're dividing by. Okay, so let's go ahead and erase. Okay, so instead of 4, let's go ahead and use 5. 5 times 7 is 35, so 5, carry the 3. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8. 91 minus 85 is 6. That's less than 17, so that's a good number to use. Okay, so I'm going to bring down the 0. 17 goes into 60. 17 goes, so that's about 20, goes into 60 about 3 times, right? So 3. 3 times 7 is 21, so I have the 1, carry the 2. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 2 is 5. And 60 minus 51 is 9. 9 is less than that 17, so I'm good. Keep going. Bring down the 0. 17 and the 90. Oh, okay, so 17 and the 91, what I started off with, that's going to be the same thing, right, as 17 into 90, right? It's going to go in there also 5 times. 5 times 7 is 35. 5, carry the 3. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 3 is 8. Subtract. 90 minus 85 is 5. 5 is less than 17, so that's good. Bring down the 0. 17 goes into 50 2 times. 17 plus 17 is 34. 34 plus 17 ends up being 51. Okay, so it won't go in there that third time. So we're going to use a 2 here. 2 times 17 is 34, and our remainder is 16, which is less than the 17. So we're good. We have 3 decimal places, right? So now it says round to 2 decimal places. That third number, right, in the thousand spot, it's less than 5. So I'm going to round down. It's 5.35. Okay. All right. In 1B, 48 divided by 30, check to see if you can simplify. Okay, it looks like greatest common factor here, 6 can go into both. So this can be simplified so we can get some smaller numbers. So 6 will go into both, right? And we're divided by 6 over 6. 6 over 6 is just 1, so we're not actually changing the value of this 48 over 30. Okay, so 48 divided by 6 is 8, and 30 divided by 6 is 5. So now instead of dividing 30 into 48, much more manageable numbers. So I'm going to divide 5 into 8. 0.000. Move that decimal up. 5 goes into 8 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. 8 minus 5 is 3. 3 is smaller than 5. So I keep going. Bring down that 0. 5 goes into 30 6 times. Put it right above this 0 here. 6 times 5 is 30. And that goes in perfectly. So remainder of 0, I have a 1.6. Okay, so 1.6. Let's round it to that second decimal spot, and it's 1.60. The next one, 11 over 3, 11 thirds, cannot be simplified, so I'm just going to go ahead and start dividing. Okay, so bring up the decimal spot right here. 3 goes into 11 2 times. 2 times 3 is 9. I'm sorry, 3 times. So that's a 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 11 minus 9 is 2. 2 is smaller than 3, so I keep going. Bring down to 0. 3 goes into 20 6 times. 6 times 3 is 18. 20 minus 18 is 2. 2 is smaller than 3, so I'll keep going. Okay, bring down to 0. 3 goes into 26 times. 6 times 3 is 18. And we see what's happening here. We're going to keep getting 6. Right? So 20 minus 18 is 2. Bring down to 0. Okay, so I have another 6. 6 times 3 is 18. Right? It's 3.6 repeating, which makes sense because this ends up being 3. 11 over 3 goes in here 3 times with a remainder of 2, right? So 3 and 2/3, 3.6 repeating. We know that decimal is equal to 2/3. But I'm rounding to 2 decimal places here, right? So 3.66, that 6 is 5 or larger, so I'm going to round to 3.67.